Hi, it's Darren from Stratton Performance Training. Just a quick video to speak about tips on looking after your feet. It's really important for any athletes, sportsmen or women, and just anyone in general. It's important to look after your feet. Lots of nerve endings and very sensitive tools, important part of your body. You need to look after them. Okay, so different ways to look after them and to give yourself a bit of a self-massage in your feet. To start with, if I just grab a ball, this is what we're going to use, okay? So this is a special trigger point ball. This is from Trigger Point Therapy. It's really good. The reason I like these ones is they're fabric covered, so they tend to not slide around as much as a kind of slippery plastic ball. They're about £20 in the UK, so not cheap, but they'll last a long time, and you can use them on your back, your hamstrings, your glutes, anywhere that perhaps a foam roller wouldn't quite deliver an intense enough kind of release of a tight muscle or a trigger point. Okay, so this is great, and I'll show you what I'll do on my feet to loosen them up here. So it's very simple, but just something that we'll all easily forget to do, and then I'll show you a couple of other devices you can use as well, or different types of things you can use aside from this. Perhaps your budget doesn't quite stretch to this, or you need something different, but the same principles apply as far as to what you do with your feet. Okay, so just literally pop the ball under your foot. Obviously you're in control with the weight on your other leg as far as the pressure you put on the ball, so I'll lean onto it, and I prefer personally to start on the instep, just in the arch on the inside of my foot, and I'll just roll around. That's quite nasty in there. It tends to be really tight in lots of people that participate in sports where they're moving around a lot, but especially I find in martial artists, boxers, anyone doing karate, Muay Thai, anything like that, where you tend to be sort of on the balls of your feet a lot, really twisting and bending your feet around. Okay, so they do tend to get quite tight, quite a bit of impact on them as well. Okay, again, sports where you're jumping a lot, track and field stuff, basketball. Okay, now I've moved to the middle of my foot, roll it up and down. I can make circles, the outside of my foot as well, and then normally I finish off just by getting the ball right into the middle of the sole of my foot, and then really pressing down, really trying to pull my toes down, and a lot of pressure on the ball, and then toes up. Okay, so simple as that, so nothing to it, but it's one of those things that not many of us do that can make a big difference to our training. You can do the same thing again with a ball like this one. Okay, so this is, again, this is a special trigger point ball, but this is very solid plastic, so it slides around a little bit more, but you'll find that the denser the ball and the smaller the ball, the more intense the pressure will obviously be, the more concentrated, so that will be more effective. Often you'll find if you're trying to release a tight muscle or area, it's perhaps restricting your range of motion or just not enabling you to perform at your best. What you can do is, if a foam roller doesn't quite do enough, for example for me, my hamstrings, I can never quite release them enough with a foam roller, so this just won't do the job for me. So what I'll literally do is use one of these balls. I'll just sit on a chair, and then I'll literally pop this underneath my hamstring, and then I'll straighten, I'll extend and flex at my knee, and gradually just get all the nasty stuff out of my legs, and they'll feel a lot better. Okay, so I'll cover that another time with you, just to show you so you can see what I'm talking about. But literally, the more dense the ball, the better. These are cheaper. You could use something exactly the same as this. You could get like a hockey ball, a lacrosse ball, for a few pounds, and that will do the job great for you. Finally, you've got some other stuff as well. Another thing that you can buy from Trigger Point Therapy is, this is called a footballer. Not the kind of footballer that we're used to. But this is just again a similar idea, but this isn't going to roll and fly around quite as much as a ball. Bit of a luxury really, but they are great, and you can get sets with them, with DVDs on different exercises to do to improve the tissue quality in your feet. You can get larger size devices. They do just like a giant version of this that are called quad ballers that you can use for your quadriceps to loosen those up, which are great. But just to show you another idea, so you do exactly the same thing again, but obviously this isn't going to fly around all over the place. You can get lots of pressure on there and really roll out your feet. And if you do this for a week or two, you'll find that they feel so much better. It makes such a massive difference. Okay, so if you want to start off, even if it's a tennis ball, that will be better than nothing. It's going to be quite soft, and it's not, when you put pressure on the ball, it's going to cave in. So perhaps if you can get a more solid ball, that's great. If you're really crazy and you like pain, you can go for something real small and solid like a golf ball, something in between like a squash ball. But anything, you know, any sort of solid ball, just give it a go. There's probably one lying around somewhere at home, and just give it a try. Every morning you can have it by the side of your bed, just 30 seconds each foot. You could have one in the kitchen, and you could roll on the ball under your feet whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil in the morning before you have your cup of tea or your coffee, and then it's job done. Do that every day. It'll make a massive difference to your feet, especially if you play any sorts of sports or you're on your feet with your job all day and they get bashed up a lot. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks a lot.